La mer, the sea. What do you think of when you think of the sea? If you're going to have 25 minutes of music about the sea, what might that sound like? What kind of composer, what kind of music can you imagine? How would it move? What kind of colors would it have? Well, perhaps the ideal composer to write a piece called The Sea would be Claude Debussy, the French composer who created this style of Impressionism. Impressionist music is full of soft edges and moving textures that are always changing, different ways that light plays on surfaces, different feelings of volume, very much like Impressionist painting, that are just ideal for treating a concept of water in movement, of great elemental forces gathering momentum. The Sea, La Mer, is Debussy's piece of 1905 that remains his most popular work in the orchestral literature. It really amounts to a symphony, which is particularly surprising because the development of Impressionism was really a way of turning away from German-based music, the whole symphonic tradition, and creating whole new sounds. The sounds of Impressionism are always light and frothy. They seem to move in air like light, completely different from German music. And yet here Debussy ends up writing essentially a symphony in 3 movements. But what different movements from any symphony? I mean, the first movement is titled From Dawn Till Noon on the Sea. What is that? I mean, it's a picture, it's a suggestion. It's like an Impressionist painting. You don't know exactly what it is, but it's an impression, full of color and movement. The second movement, Play of the Waves. Similarly, it's a picture, but it's whatever picture you make of it. Then the third movement, the dialogue of the wind and the sea. Again, a general picture inspiring your imagination. Toward the end of this movement, we hear music that Debussy himself called the chorale of the deep, that we heard only fleetingly in the first movement. It returns toward the end of the third movement with this great power at the bottom of the orchestra and comes to sweep away all the music like a great tide. This work, La Mer, Debussy's vision of the sea, actually the vision of a composer who did not spend much time at the sea, but had great poetic images in mind, was one of the most innovative pieces of the early 20th century. It really changed the way we hear orchestra music. See whether it's the kind of music you imagine for the sea.